Hey Cody, what are you up to?
Oh, hey, I'm just taking a BuzzFeed quiz on which furry species I am.
Wow, why are you so white?
Racket, you can't just ask why somebody is white.
Yeah, what do you even mean? I'm a wolf.
Well, that's just a very white thing to do.
Wow, judging Cody based on his actions and attributing it to an entire race is pretty offensive.
Yeah, like, judging an entire ethnicity based on anecdotal stereotypes is kinda racist.
I was just making a joke, you guys. You don't need to team up.
Joking about race and calling somebody out are very different.
That's not...
What's the matter?
The quiz gave me fox.
Why do you say that like a bad thing?
Well, you know, foxes are all
Aha!
kinda...
See? You're doing it too.
What? No, I'm just saying I don't want other people to think that I'm like a fox.
That's worse than what I said.
Yeah, that's pretty bad,
No,
boss.
you guys are ganging up on me now. I'm not racist.
That's just what a racist would say.
Shut up, Racket!
Hey, Tress, where are you? I think it's time we have a legitimate conversation about
Hold
identity.
it right there, buddy.
What do you think, Atris?
He's not in right now.
Not in. He's my subconscious. Where did he go?
I sent him on an errand. Don't worry about it.
What did Veovis want me to do down here? He sent me all this way and told me there was a very important topic that he wanted me to review. Oh, what's that? That must be what I came here for. No, that can't be right. Closer. That looks better. So before I get into the topic of this video, this is not a discussion about racism. This is not a discussion about one specific race or trying to call out any specific group. As a matter of fact, this isn't really a discussion at all, because that would imply a conversation. What I'm going to go over today is the importance of ethnic diversity, but more importantly, how one's own race, while maybe being the first thing people notice, is not your only defining factor. Now, I'm not going to go over identity and personality, as it was already covered in a previous video, link in the description, but a couple things I did want to define before we move forward is race versus ethnicity. Now, race in this context is defined as each of the major divisions of humankind having distinct physical characteristics, whereas ethnicity is defined as the fact or state of belonging to a social group that has a common national or cultural tradition. Now, the main difference between the two is that, in most cases, people use race when referring to physical characteristics of humans, although advancement in human genetics have disproved many of the traditional classifications, making the word race more vague and less precise. Ethnicity is used when referring to cultural characteristics of humans. As such, ethnicity, generally speaking, is a more useful idea than race, as it encompasses racial characteristics in addition to aspects of culture. This is most commonly seen with people who are racially white, but ethnically South African. But that steps into the territory of nationality a bit. Humans are very tribal creatures. They are always creating cliques and groups, but it's even easier when these groups are reinforced by either the culture you were raised in, or due to the region where you live. But just because you are brought up inside one group, doesn't mean that you are restricted by the norms of that group, nor should other people stigmatize you simply based on stereotypes of that culture. That's not going to stop them from doing so. So much of what we see in our shared culture is already so preset and ingrained, it's hard to convince people otherwise. But when we take an objective look at the individual, rather than the group as a whole, you can see more diversity within each of the different ethnic groups. It's silly to try and pretend like these factors don't matter, because of course they do. These cultural differences have endured millennia and predate most of modern civilization. They help us tell each other apart, and help us grow and see things from different perspectives. Having a close relationship with this aspect of your life is perfectly normal, and to some it can be a very cherished experience. But with an entire ethnicity having a shared set of societal and cultural norms, it can create expectations, and even sometimes near inescapable stereotypes that can damage the very community that promoted them in the first place. Too often are people shied away from being who they want to be, or outright denied the opportunity because it's not something perceived as fitting in with the entire ethnicity's norms. This can be very damaging to each community at large, as it never offers them a chance to evolve or grow, and often leads to blocking outside influence, creating a bubble. These bubbles can tend to discourage people of different groups integrating with each other and trying to understand each other. Instead, they staunchly defend their own bubbles, turning cultural celebration and integration into cultural appropriation and further segregation, and then being ignorant of other cultures' history. It's understandable to be defensive of your culture and want it to be viewed in a positive light, but this can sometimes put unnecessary stress, not just on others, but within each community. There's a way they should talk, there's a way they should act, there's hobbies they should and shouldn't have, and how they are supposed to act towards other groups. These stereotypes are long built into these communities and are not so easily changed. It would be foolish to say that there is anything we could do in the short term to solve these long-standing differences, and obviously we will never know just how the other groups have struggled or the societal issues within each ethnicity, because no matter how much we want to understand, we will never actually be from that community. The best thing we can do, our first steps, is to be able to open our walls and reach across, try to understand and ask questions, learn and grow together. Genuine sympathy is much better than forced empathy. But I'm just an otter. What do I know? Let me give you some real-world examples of real people who feel oppressed within their own ethnic stereotypes.
What ethnic group do you belong to?
So I'm Asian, I'm Filipino to be specific.
African American.
I am Hispanic, so I am Mexican American.
Do you feel like your race or ethnicity define you as a person?
Well, I mean, as a Filipino, I think if a white person or somebody that's not of my race, like if they take a look at me, they're trying to figure out what I am, because not a whole bunch of people know what a Filipino is.
That's fair.
Like they would look at me and be like, so are you Hispanic? I'm like, no. Just because of my last name, because most of us have Hispanic last names.
Right.
Like people right away assume that we're Hispanic.
I feel like race and ethnicity play a major role in my life, but to say it defines me would be primitive.
I don't believe that my race defines me as a person, but it does contribute to like a lot of who I am. It doesn't define me completely, but there are some things like that I practice like culturally that make me a little bit different than like other people, you know. But as a whole, like no, because I am my own person, and I feel like I'm kind of like unique because I'm molded by the society or where I grew up, like here in America. So like for example, me going to Mexico, there it's very like different, like the way that the people like my family over there grew up and how they are living currently. So I feel like it doesn't define me as a whole. It just gives me like a little bit of a difference amongst my peers, I would say.
What kind of negative stereotypes have you had to face?
Back in Hawaii, they think that we all eat dogs.
And do you eat dogs?
I don't eat dogs. Dogs are friends, not food.
The stereotype that I'm a thief, or that I'm in a gang because I wear a do-rag at night to help my hair growth.
When they say that Mexican people are lazy or something,
Yeah.
which I feel like that is not true. Every individual like works differently. I feel like it doesn't necessarily mean that one race is lazier than another. I just feel like it comes down to like how you're raised. Because in other cultures too, they do have like a siesta where they take a break in the afternoon. They like just take a nap, whatever it is they need to do. But I guess like America's not used to like people taking breaks like that during
and
the
then
day.
you just come off as looking
So-
lazy.
Do you feel like you are held to a different standard because of your race?
I mean, I would say I would, because a whole bunch of us are, I mean, not a whole bunch of us, but a majority of us are all work in the medical field. Like we're all nurses or nurses aides of some sort.
Right, and you feel like that's like kind of like pressure on you by society to make, or not society, but do you feel like that's pressured on you because from your community to do something like that?
Oh yeah, definitely, especially from my parents.
Right.
In some aspects, yes, and in some aspects, no. It depends on whose standard we are going by.
Yeah, I guess so, because I mean, if they're expecting us to, if people say that we're lazy basically or something, then I feel like I have to prove them wrong. So I feel like I have to take the extra step to be like, look guys, I'm actually doing my job or something like I don't know.
Have you experienced oppression either from your own community or another one?
I don't think I've ever experienced it.
That's fine. That's good. As you shouldn't.
Yes, I have experienced depression from both.
Within my own community, I have felt like there's a difference, because since I am from America, like I was born in Arizona and everything, so like if we go to Mexico, I feel like they treat us differently. They treat us like I don't know, like not necessarily like traitors per se, but I feel like they look at us differently. Like I don't know, like maybe they think that we think we're better than them or something, which I have seen that some people who are born in America do act different towards like natives as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a circle. Like the people in Mexico think of us here differently, and then some of the people here think about Mexicans a certain way.
Right.
So it's like there's like a division amongst even our own communities.
What would you like to see from other ethnic groups to help us all move forward as a society?
It's pretty basic, like just have an open mind.
Empathy. Efforts to help us heal as a community and as a whole.
I know we say it a lot, like people say it a lot, like on the news and everything, that you need to listen to each other and all this stuff. But it's true. I mean, I feel like you can't really progress until everybody like sees what their own issues are, like their own faults, and tries to correct them.
Right.
Instead of like, because some people don't like criticism, so they take it bad and then they get all upset. Instead of like actually listening and being like, okay, maybe if these people are really telling me this, like maybe I should really think about it, see where I'm wrong, and then try to like change. Because the thing is, everything is constantly changing, so we have to kind of constantly change with it. You can't just be stuck in one certain way. Otherwise, you kind of get like lost or left behind, and then because of that, then you're stuck in your own ways and you can't really progress. People need to be more educated on things. People need to stop like just falling for the first thing that comes up. A lot of people are comfortable like how they are, and they don't want things to change because they're afraid of it. Instead of embracing change, like they fear it, so they just kind of get stuck where they're at.
When you make one aspect of your being control your entire personality, either by your own personal volition or being forced to by societal standards, you inadvertently become a representative for that entire community. Which isn't inherently a bad thing, but you have to be ready then to speak on behalf of everybody, even if there's no possible way you can do that. This causes an endless loop of the not all movements, but then nobody's mind actually changing, because the same people claiming it's a cultural responsibility for certain actions are the same group saying it has nothing to do with that culture. All we need to do is understand that even though the ethnic groups that helped to forge us as people and give us our values are very important, each person as an individual, at least in America, can achieve anything and be anyone they want to be. Sure, there will be ridicule from not only people outside each group, but also those inside. And that's the bubble walls that people still like to take shelter behind. At the end of the day, you are allowed to celebrate your culture and let it be fused with your identity. But each one of you are more than just your ethnicity, and definitely much more than just your race. For us all to be a healthier and much more welcoming society, we need to embrace our differences and treat each other with
honesty, empathy, respect, and open-mindedness.
The path to normalizing equality amongst all races starts here.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope I was able to shed a little light on some of the difficulties many ethnicities face, and express that just because you share traits with one group doesn't mean that you should be ostracized or stigmatized based on negative ethnic stereotypes. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel for more to come. I want to extend a quick thank you to everybody who helped me make this video, including my 3 friends who helped me by accepting my interview. And of course, a huge shout out to my wonderful patrons who have been so supportive of me during this very chaotic time in my life. Thanks a bunch, guys, and stick around for more.